Okay, Willie the Mongoose Monroe. Brilliant. Welcome to the show. We've interrupted you in the middle of training, Willie, so there's no need to be questioning you about whether you're training hard. I believe you just finished a 4-mile run.
But it's okay. It's raining out anyway, so I had to it's raining. It's Florida, so it started raining. So you caught me right in time.
Oh, great. So you can have a little break now. What I really want to talk to you about, I mean, boxing's coming back. We saw it, it really started off with Aram shows. I don't know, over here in the UK, Frank Warren has started and Eddie Hearn's just about to start his indoor shows. So boxing is back. We've got it every weekend on the TV now. And obviously, as boxing wakes up from this big lockdown, the big beasts are coming out. And so I'll talk to you about a couple of them in this interview. The first one I want to talk to you about is Canelo. Now, Canelo, the number one pound for pound, is scheduled to fight on the 12th of September. And at the moment, they're looking around for an opponent. And I know that you were saying you really wanted to be in the mix for that fight. Can you kind of give us, Willie, why you think it should be you in the opposite corner to Canelo on the 12th of September?
I mean, well, you have to ask yourself, why wouldn't it be? At a time like this, the guys that have titles in his weight class, they also come with huge egos. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to fight without their fan base there. Mm-hmm. They're not going to want to fight on a short notice, of a fight of this magnitude. So, I mean, and then, like I said before, you guys have heard me allude to this before, Canelo was scheduled to fight me in December of 2016, and that fell apart. And obviously, I didn't have the legal power to be able to make sure that fight still came about. So it just, sort of dissolved. But now that we're in this position, I'm back. I'm on a 3-fight win streak. You know what I mean? I think this is the perfect time for both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been looking good. Obviously, we know you over here in the UK because you had that fight with Billy Joe Saunders, a point to Billy Joe. And Billy Joe was actually the lead contender to get this date until he had some strange messing around with these videos he releases, but he's just come off a suspension yesterday. He got a £15,000 fine, and his suspension has now been relieved by the board. I don't know if that will put him back on track, but obviously we've heard Callum Smith has been offered some money, but that doesn't seem to have come to any fruition. And then John Ryder is making a case as well. But we know that you're fearless. I mean, you faced Golovkin, when he was at the height of his powers. You've come to the UK, like you say, you can fight without your fans behind you. You came to the UK to fight Billy Joe, and so. How do you think that would play for Canelo? If you were in the opposite corner on the 12th of September, and Canelo, who is used to these huge partisan crowds, how do you think that's going to give you more of an even playing field if you're in a silent studio with Canelo? It's just you two in the ring.
It could, but then again, I don't want to stand on that because Canelo's a professional. You don't get to being, best pound for pound without experience a little bit of everything. Yeah. So it's not like he hasn't experienced, something of this magnitude on some level. So we can look at it like that and say, yeah, that would play in my favor. But then again, we also got to look at he's a professional, his team is professional, and he's a top pound for pound fighter. So, it should be something that he can do. He should be able to fight if somebody puts him in a phone booth, with no one watching. He should be able to fight his way out of it because he's the best pound for pound fighter on the planet. Am I not right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? But you're coming off those 3 good wins since that Billy Joe points loss. And obviously you think that puts you in a good position. Now, during this lockdown, how have you been training, Willie? I mean, as you say, it's a fairly short notice fight, but have you kept up your training? Have you kept up? How has sparring been? How have you managed to cope with lockdown to keep yourself in the top position to get these fights?
I mean, doing what I'm doing now, running, no gyms have been open, and there's a lot of, I'm from the streets. I can go out to the park and get some pull-ups and dips and stuff. I can manifest some type of training. But as far as serious training camp with things that you need, like the heavy bag, speed bag, double end bag, a mitt guy, we just, with the whole social distancing and everything, and then the gyms having a certain amount of people that could be in there at a certain time, and some gyms are open, but it's, with the social distancing, and then it's not a lot of people who actually want to be out. Some people are scared to be out, even though this thing is sort of subsiding a little bit. But I would say I'm in good enough shape for a pandemic. I don't think anyone was able to truly train. The world was on lockdown. Mm-hmm. So, I've been doing my thing though.
Yeah. And if you got this call, Willie, like I say, your hat is in the ring, your credentials are sound. It was after the Gabriel Rosado fight, you actually had the contract to sign Canelo, which was then put to one for some reason. So you feel it's unfinished business, and I think you also feel third time lucky in your world title tilts, which has happened many times before. But can you tell me how you would beat Canelo on September the 12th if you were in the opposite corner?
Absolutely. I believe in myself 100%. I'm never going to say no.
Oh,
absolutely.
I've no doubt, Willie, that you would take the fight. You've shown that time and again that you're not scared of anyone and you'll fight anyone on their home turf. We know that.
Absolutely.
The fact that you get the call, you'll be there. There's no question. But I'm saying to you, how would you win the fight? What could you bring that could beat Canelo?
I think it's going to be intellect versus intellect. When we fight, it's going to be smarts versus smarts. You know what I mean? Like I said before, everybody's talked about the knowledge that Canelo has picked up in boxing since his fight with Floyd Mayweather. And he has looked better. He hasn't lost, obviously, and he has looked better. And he has a lot of changes added to his game. But in between what I've been through up and down in boxing, I've been through some changes also. So I just think my knowledge of what happens, what could happen, and what has happened to me is enough for me to be able to make the necessary adjustments to come out with the victory on September 12th.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think that style of yours, that sort of elusive southpaw style, but you can mix it as well, good box fighter. How do you think that southpaw style gives you a little bit of an edge over Canelo at all? Do you think it's going to give you a little advantage?
I think so. Because we look at his problem, and it's been with southpaws, but he still hasn't officially lost to a southpaw. So, I think he makes necessary adjustments, And I heard that Canelo, from, here, I don't know if it's hearsay or not, but I heard that Canelo, actually keeps southpaw sparring partners in his camp, even when he's not preparing for a southpaw, just to get a different look. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure he's had enough experience, through his 55 professional fights, all of the sparring camps and the different guys he's fought, to be able to put it together. Like I said, he's a pound for pound great, and I'm coming after that. You know what I mean? And that's what I want. You know how they say my favorite athlete was Kobe Bryant and Deion Sanders. You know what I mean? And you know how they say Kobe Bryant had the Mamba mentality. I got the mongoose mentality, and snakes never beat a mongoose. You get what I'm saying? So,
can I ask you about another thing?
What's that?
Right. One thing, we talked about this in this fight, and you talked about Canelo's pedigree and his experience and everything else, but you've got an amazing pedigree in boxing. Your father, your grandfather, it runs blood, since you were a kid, and obviously, your famous relative, Willie Monroe, Willie the Worm Monroe, first man to beat Hagler. But so I wanted to pick your brains as well about another fight that's coming up that I know you've got an opinion on. So Lomachenko v. Lopez coming up, we hope, on September the 19th. Again, this one definitely will be without crowds, as far as Bob Arum tells us. Now, Lopez, bit of a phenomenon, 22 years old, 15-0, just won the IBF title. Lomachenko, and they're both these guys at lightweight. Lomachenko really, the pound-for-pound number 2 behind Canelo. And everybody kind of sees him as on another level in the lightweights. So the bookies are very heavily favouring Lomachenko in this fight and saying, Lopez, it's too early, it's too soon. But you don't think so. You've seen something that tells you the bookies are picking it wrong in this one.
Yeah, I'm putting my money on Lopez, man. I think the kid is super talented. He has every conceivable gift. And, you have to look at the fact that he truly believes in himself. So when you get a guy at that age, man, who has every conceivable gift, that believes in himself, he's dangerous. He's very, very dangerous. He has nothing to lose, everything to gain. You know what I mean? I don't want to say he has nothing to lose because he's undefeated. He has a title also. But in terms of accomplishments, he wants what Lomachenko has. And it's almost like when Roy Jones fought James Toney. James Toney was considered the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, and Roy wanted that. And Roy leaped up from middleweight to super middleweight to challenge him for not only his super middleweight title, but pound-for-pound status. And Roy was not only a very disciplined, but very gifted fighter, and he had true belief in himself. So when you looked at it on the surface, it almost looks like this fight. James Toney was known as a guy with the pound-for-pound skill, the best defense, the best this, the best that. He had power, speed, agility, control. He had everything. He seemed like the perfect fighter. He was undefeated. He almost had double the fights that Roy had. Mm-hmm. So everybody thought Roy was like a 3-1 underdog, and Roy made James Toney look like he had never even been in there with someone before because of his belief and all of his conceivable gifts. And I really think that's going to be the outcome on the 19th of September. I think Teofima is just too young, too fast, too strong. His knowledge of the game is great. He's been managed correctly. And I just think it'll be an overwhelming moment for Lomachenko, personally, mentally up here.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting comparison with the Jones-Tony fight because, as you say, Tony went in there with that incredible skill set, and people just couldn't be touched. As well as being hugely tough, it was very difficult to tag, very difficult to hit. He moved so well. He just seemed to read a fight so clearly. And as you say, Jones made him look like the novice, and
right.
Like Lomachenko makes other people look like novices. His footwork, his movement around the ring, his punches you from different angles is incredible.
Right.
So it would, I think, be a similar comparison if Lopez was to pull it off. I mean, it's almost inconceivable now the way we think of Lomachenko that somebody could make him look amateurish, which is what Roy Jones did to Tony. So
exactly. Because I mean, when you look at it, you look at the Pedraza fight, and you got to look at the Linares fight. Now, don't get me wrong. Both of those guys are awesome fighters, but for who we build Lomachenko up to be in next time after Canelo, he shouldn't have been put on his butt by Linares and Tank just dismantled. Tank made Pedraza. He had never fought before himself. And then Pedraza went on to make Lomachenko look like, we might have somebody may have unlocked a few keys here. And then Linares put him on his behind. So I think Lomachenko's an amazing fighter. Don't get me wrong. And he's a lefty. So, I mean, I love all my lefties. But I just got to call a spade a spade. I just think Teofima, he's on a hot streak right now, man. And sometimes when somebody's on a hot streak like that, no matter how experienced you are, you might want to dodge that bullet. But they're not going to dodge the bullet. It's already, it's already signed. So I just think Teofima is just, I like that kid, man. He's got nothing but upside. He's talented and gifted in every area. You have to freaking bet on him. And when it's all over, man, I do want to come back over to the UK.
Yep.
Because I want to come back over there and do some shopping with my wife, and I do want to meet some of the UK fans because I have a lot of UK fans on Instagram who are like, they order shirts, they grab the brick by brick gear, and I do want to, just enjoy the UK scenery,
Definitely. Well, look, you're very well respected.
Oh, my God.
I'd love to see you back over here, whether it's boxing or whether it's just to see your fans. You're always welcome in the UK, believe me.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your time.
Yep.